Hey, what's going on, everybody? I was going through my Super Nintendo collection and I noticed that I did a quick test on these 9 games and none of them work. Well, some of these games I've actually never even played and they're really old. I might have gotten them at a yard sale or something. But I figured in this video I would clean them up and see if I can get them working. And at the same time, I also have a couple of Super Nintendo controllers where the start button isn't working or barely works. You really have to press it in. So I thought it'd be a pretty interesting video just to show you how I quickly clean these up and see if I can get them working again. Alright, now before I start cleaning all these individually, I'm going to give them one quick test so we can get a quick before and after. Turtles in Time. What is this? Turtles 4, Turtles in Time. I'm going to pop that in. Turn it on. See, now this didn't work, but what also happens is when you put a cartridge in and out a couple of times. Can I turn this volume down? Yeah. Nope. And this TV's messed up, so I can't actually do that. There we go. So when you do that you take the cartridge out a bunch of times, and it starts working, it's usually because it's pretty dirty in there, and that will actually clean it enough to play. But I'm still going to put this in the clean pile. So that's Turtles in Time. Super Tennis should work because I cleaned this when I was upstairs before I came down. It was actually the game that gave me the idea because it wasn't working at all. So Super Tennis is good. Super Street Fighter 2. This was another one that wasn't working and I cleaned it. I brought that down here to make sure that everything was set up. Alright, now Mortal Kombat 2 did not work. And it is now working. But since I know it didn't work, I'm going to put that in the clean pile anyway. Next up we have Mystic Quest. Oh, there we go. Mystic Quest. Gonna put that in the clean pile. Now this one, Miss Pac-Man. I mean, jeez, I almost don't even want to put that in there. Look at the inside of it. Nah, you can't tell, but yeah. Oh, I tried to do something. So that goes in the clean pile. It does not work. We have WrestleMania, the arcade game. No good. And it's funny when they don't work and you clean them, you'll notice a difference. When you put that cart back into the system, it goes in so much better, smoother. You'll notice a difference. This is just regular Street Fighter 2, which works now. Definitely didn't work the other day, but I will still clean it anyway. And the last one was Mortal Kombat 3, which I tried to play about 5 minutes ago. Did not work. I could definitely feel it when I put the game in, that it's definitely dirty in there. Okay. So out of the 9, these 4... Oops. So out of the 9, these 4 actually work just by pulling them in and out of the system a couple of times. So that's Turtles in Time, Mortal Kombat 2, Mystic Quest, Street Fighter 2. I'm still going to clean them, but obviously I don't need to test to see if they work after because they already work. The games I want to see if I can get working is Miss Pac-Man, my goodness, WrestleMania, and Mortal Kombat 3. So hopefully I can give them a quick cleaning and see if they work. Alright, so I'm not doing anything extra complicated. All I'm doing is I'm taking some isopropyl alcohol. Unfortunately, I can only get 70% thanks to COVID. You want to get something above 90%. This just means I'm going to have to do a better job of drying it when I'm done. But if it was a higher percentage, it would dry a little bit easier. But I'm just going to use this stuff to clean the contacts and hopefully, and usually that's all you need to get these things going again. Alright, taking Mortal Kombat 3, I'm just taking a Q-tip off the camera here, putting one end into the isopropyl alcohol, and I'm just going to wipe it inside against the pins on both sides. I do a little bit slow the first time, just to make sure the alcohol gets on there really good. Then I take the dry end, and then I'll start going a little bit more firm. And then usually when you get done, you'll have this black stuff on the one end and usually on the dry end too. So with this stuff, since it's only 70%, if you look inside, you'll see it's got a little bit on the bottom there. Just want to make sure that that's dry so you don't have any issues. I haven't had any issues, but I will take a little bit extra care when it comes to any extra moisture left from the 70% that I got stuck purchasing. All right, next up we got the WrestleMania game. We're gonna do the same thing. Right, got the one end there. Go a little bit slow first. All right, as you can tell, pretty nasty, pretty dark. What I'll usually do is when I'm done, I'll go really slow with another Q-tip, and I'll go along the edges here just to soak up any of that the residual isopropyl alcohol, usually the water part that doesn't evaporate, just to make sure it's all out of there. Just takes 2 seconds. Last but not least, for sure, is it's going to be Miss Pac-Man, but I'm actually going to take this one apart, and for that you need a special game bit. There's like 2 different sizes. This is, I believe, the smaller size of the 2. The larger sizes for the console, the smaller sizes for the cartridge, but easy to get and they're really cheap online. You just gotta Google it and you'll be able to pick one up. You don't necessarily need to take these apart, but because this one's so disgusting, I want to make sure there's nothing going on the inside. All right, so we have 2 screws here. Then it should just pop apart. Nothing crazy. This is one of my cheap game bit things I got laying around. Should about do it, and you just kind of lift up on it. There's pins right here, so you have to be careful of that. You can either, what I'll usually do is I'm gonna flip this upside down so the 2 screws pop out. Usually if you just it's hard to show you, but it's not rocket science, but you could just kind of like slide them apart like that. Open it up, see what's going on the inside of this thing. Alright, so it just looks, the pins look just really dirty. I mean, it's hard to tell, but you see those little, if you look at the pins, there's some stuff on it. Chips look super clean, and you can see right there, right above, there's just a bunch of schmutz right there above the pins, and right in this area right here. So I'll clean that up. I mean, I don't think it's doing anything, but it's probably because whatever spilled on this and got it dirty just kind of leaked in there. But other than that, it looks pretty good. I think if I just clean the pins, put it together, it should probably work. All right, so just like before, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get in there and try to get some of this stuff up. It's actually really not that bad. So that's not promising. Maybe the other side will be better. Yeah, there's some stuff coming off of this. I'm gonna get that little spot right in here, dry everything up. Oops. Careful not to catch the cotton swab on any of the pins. Just if you do, you just pull them off. No big deal. Now you can actually put just this into the game console, but I'm not gonna do that because if I put it in the wrong way, it might not be good. So I'll just slap it back to the cart, cross my fingers because it's as clean as it's gonna get, and hopefully we got ourselves a working Ms. Pac-Man. Alright, so it's time to put the Pac-Man game back together. Just a little heads up, you should always have some sort of small container to put these little screws in, because I wasn't really paying attention and I was lucky enough I didn't knock these off the table, but if I did, they'd be gone forever. So in that case, you find any little thing and you make sure you have these things nice and safe. To put it back together, it's pretty much straightforward. Nintendo designs these things so the PCBs will only fit in one direction. So what we'll do is we'll pick the bottom We'll put it where we think it's supposed to go. And if you look, there's a tab. Well, not really a tab, but there's a little pokey thing here and another one here, and they're offset. That pretty much prevents it from going in wrong. So if you try to put it in this way, it's not going to work. You give it a flip, it goes in there perfectly. All right, so now we're going to put the top on. So you put it on a little offset, just so that these pins, the little tabs I should say, are in place. And once it's in place, man, it's together. And all you have to do is put in the last 2 screws, assuming you didn't lose them, and you should be good to go. Be sure to take care of how these go in originally. So if you put them in first and wiggle them a little bit, they should kind of settle in where they need to be. And you just go in, take your time, give it a couple twists. If it looks like it's going in straight, you should be good. You don't want to have these things go in sideways or strip. Then you're gonna have to either buy more hardware or steal them from a game you don't like. Not that I like Miss Pac-Man, but try to avoid disasters when you can. Don't tighten them too hard, obviously. As long as it's not pulling apart. And that should do it. We're gonna go ahead and test the 3 games I cleaned and see if they start up on the first try. All right, so first up, we are going to try WrestleMania. That went in nice. All right. Looks good. Mortal Kombat 3. There you go. Like I said, 9 out of 10 times, it's all you need to do. As long as there's no broken traces in those boards, you should be good. Now, Pac-Man, what do you think? Is it gonna work? Ms. Pac-Man, excuse me. That would be a big fat no. At least on the first try. So I'm gonna do this a few times. Well then, so I'm not surprised. Even though the PC board did look good, it was pretty obvious that this was subjected to something nasty. I'm gonna try giving it another clean off camera to see if I can get it working. Sometimes you gotta do it twice. All right, I gave it another clean. I just popped it in, went in really nice, and now it works. So this was the second time I cleaned it, and it still had that much crap on it. So, like I said, sometimes it might need a little extra, but even Ms. Pac-Man is up and running. All right, now it's time to take a look at my 3 Super Nintendo controllers. One of these works really well.